Today in our 2017 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, we're going to be showing you how to install the Roadmaster 4-Diode Universal Wiring Kit for Towed Vehicle. Part number is RM-152-98146-7. This is going to offer the 7-pole to 6-pole round connection through a straight cord. As you can see, this wiring kit's going to give us a really nice, clean, plug-in part on our truck here. We're able to put it right into the bumper. Got our stainless steel spring here that has good tension. It's going to keep that cover closed when not in use, prevent any moisture from getting inside. Then when we're ready to use it, we can simply plug it in. On your RV side, you can see we've got our standard 7-pole that's going to plug into any 7-pole standard connector. Now this is designed to isolate our systems from one another so they can't backfeed. The diode allows, when the factory lights are in use, for the factory power to run through, just like it does normally. But when our motorhome's in use, it's going to allow that to flow through also. That diode separates them, like we said, it isolates them so that when this is in use, it can't turn the corner and go back this way. And when it's coming in from this direction, it can't go back into our vehicle's wiring. Now the first thing we need to do is decide where we're going to be mounting our plug. See, we've got a couple areas here, side of the license plate, passenger side, driver's side over there. Behind it, there's not really anything blocking it or anything in the way. So it's just going to be this thicker, heavier plastic. And we're going to be mounting this directly to it, just like that. So to get the right position for the center of my hole, I'm going to turn it around and make sure that I've got it leveled out and in the position I want it. I'm just going to use a pick. I'm going to mark the middle of those two holes. Just like that. So now I've got a mark here, a mark there. I'm going to split the difference and drill my hole right in the middle. Now from my center mark, I'm going to use an 1 3/8" hole saw and we'll get that drilled out. I'm going to use a little drill bit and drill out my holes here where I want my bolts to go. Alright, that should look really nice there. Now we can start getting our wiring attached. Now we'll take the length of 4-pole wire that comes with our kit. We've just unrolled it underneath the length of the vehicle here. I'm going to bring it through our hole. Give ourselves plenty of slack. Just want to kind of separate your wires. I'm going to slide our boot over. And then we'll get all 4 of those stripped back. Now we'll twist each of those just to keep all of the strands nice and compacted together. Now in our plug, of course, we're going to have 6 connection points. So here's the top, so we'll rotate it straight around. The top one's for our trailer marker light, which is the brown wire. Next one's ground, which is the white wire. Next one's left turn, which is the yellow wire. Then finally our green wire is going to go here to right turn. Now if you need some kind of signal wire or something, you can use the S, which is your typically stop. That'll be like a signal wire. You can use the middle for like an auxiliary charging system if you want. We're only going to be connecting the 4, so we're just going to loosen up all 4 of those Phillips set screws. Now again, starting at the top, we'll do our brown wire. You'll tighten that screw down. You certainly don't need to over tighten it so you damage your wire. You just want it to make good firm contact. Then our white is going to be next. Yellow. Then green. Now we're going to place through a machine screw. Put a flat washer on there just to give it a little bit more grab, since we are mounting it in plastic rather than the metal bracket that it comes with. These are a little longer than the bolts that are provided. Now on the back side of that, we're going to place a washer and a lock nut. The lock nut's very similar to what came with the kit. We're just using that washer to get a little bit more space and kind of spread out the holding force. Once we've got them started, we'll get them secured down. You'll notice we are using a nylon lock nut. That way we won't have to worry about it backing out or moving around on us. Now we're going to bring our wiring through here. You'll see the loom that runs right over here towards the driver's side. We'll use a few zip ties and attach our wiring off to that. From there, we're going to run right behind the skid plate here along the frame rail. We should be able to grab it from up above. Get that pulled through, and then there's a wire loom up there that we can attach it to. We'll bring it back right behind the upper control arm, and we'll attach it to the larger wire loom here, and we'll run all the way to the back of the truck with this wire loom. Once we get behind the body mount here, you'll see a nice solid ground. We're going to separate the white wire from the brown, yellow, and green, and we're going to attach it there. Now we'll trim that off to the appropriate length, giving ourselves just a little bit of extra slack. We'll get that stripped back. We can add on our ring terminal. This is going to be provided with the kit. And we use a 10mm socket to back out the bolt. Ring terminal behind, then the bolt will go back through both of them and right back in position. And at that point, we've got a good ground. Now we can continue to run our other 3 wires toward the back of the truck. Once we get to the back driver's side corner, we'll pull it out over onto this side of the frame rail. And we'll of course use zip ties again to keep it nice and secure. Once we get back here, we'll separate the green wire. This is going to be running over to the passenger side. Now the yellow and brown, we're going to run right up through that square hole along that back edge, and that should get it right up behind our taillight for us. Now with the T15 Torx bit, we want to take both of the screws out that are holding the taillight in, one here and one here. You just want to pull rearward and separate the 2 locking tabs that are on the outside edge there. Pull our wire up. Then we're going to take this loom back so we can determine which of the wires operate the signals that we need. Just very carefully separate it so to not actually go all the way through and cut your wiring. All right, you'll see with the running lights on in the vehicle, the bottom and the top are going to light up here, and they're also going to operate top and bottom for the blinker. Now, in our kit, we only need 1 to operate. We're going to need 1 running light and 1 blinker. So let's test the higher one, because that'll give us room to mount our diodes in here. See how we've got this slack wire? We're going to use our test light. Getting constant signal from the brown, and our flashing signal from the green. So the green is going to be the left turn and brake signal. The brown is going to be our running light signal. Okay, shut that off. Running lights off. Now we'll turn this, that way we can bring our bulbs out. That'll allow us to set our taillight aside someplace safe. Make sure these aren't touching anything. And we'll head to the other side and we can do the same test there. Got running lights. And right turn. And off. All right, we're gonna have the same color here on the passenger side. brown for running lights, green for turn signals. We're going to start by getting our brown wire cut, then just a little bit lower we'll cut our green wire. Get those stripped back. And we'll separate the brown and yellow wire. I'm going to cut the yellow wire off the same length as the green factory wire. And we'll pull our spade connectors off the diode. For the turn signal wire, we're going to be using all blue. Now in our factory brown wire, we're also going to add blue spade connectors. Now we're going to take that length of white wire that we trimmed off earlier. We want to combine that with the brown wire that's coming from the front. We're going to use this white wire just as a jumper wire, so we can take the tail light signal from the driver's side, run it across with our green wire to get the running light signal over to the passenger side. And here's where we're going to use that one oddball spade connector that's yellow. Twist both of those together, slide our connector on, and crimp it down just like before. Give each of them a pull, just like all your other ones, to make sure you've got a really good crimp on there. Now we'll start adding in our diodes. Start with our running light, so we just slide that back on. Bring our yellow in from the motorhome, then our blue in from the car. Now we'll do the same thing for our turn signal here. Now in this case, we've got plenty of room in behind our housing, so I'm just going to use a zip tie. Zip tie our diode off to our wiring in both spots. Now that white wire, let's run that right down through that same square, so it'll be in the same area as our green wire when we get down there. And we'll get our bulbs turned back into the taillight housing. And we'll place this in there temporarily for now, just until we confirm that everything's working. Now let's head over to the passenger side. Now from the underside here, we're going to run the green and white wire right across the back side of the bed with this smaller wire loom. Now this is going to go up that same square-shaped hole underneath the taillight housing as we used on the driver's side. Now we're just going to repeat again that same process we used on the driver's side here on the passenger side. Although we don't have that yellow spade connector, the white wire is also going to get a blue spade connector, since we don't have to run two wires out of it. Now we can get this one slid back into place, and let's test them out. Now we can hook our truck up to either our coach or a trailer tester, and we want to run through the signals. Let's start by turning on the taillights. Now we'll check the left brake. Now we'll do the left blinker. We'll check our right brake and our right blinker. Now we'll put our screws back in place to secure our light and head over to the passenger side. Once you've confirmed everything's working, I like to take black silicone sealant and fill in all the gaps between all the wires here. Then I'll slide my boot up on, and then I'll fill the back of this cap here. That's going to prevent moisture from getting in there, and it'll keep corrosion to a minimum for us. All right, you shouldn't have to worry about any moisture getting in there. we're going to remove the small Phillips screw located in the plug side. See, that's going to allow us to pull the plug out. Then you'll see a Phillips set screw right there. So we'll feed our wiring in above the keeper for it. And we'll connect the 6 wires to our plug. Now at each position there's going to be a small set screw. We'll use a small Phillips screwdriver to remove it. So the power, that's our black wire. That's going to go in first. That's right in the middle. It's going to bring our green wire for right turn signal. Blue wire goes to the stop signal, or the S. Following that blue wire is going to be the yellow wire, left turn signal. Next up we've got our G. Next up we've got our G for ground, that's the white wire. The last one's going to be the brown wire going to the T for trailer marker, or in this case towed vehicle marker. We'll bring the housing portion back over our plug. We'll line up our nut located in there. Place our small set screw back in. Then we can tighten down the Phillips here on the back with a little bit larger one. And that's just going to compress that wire down. And when we pull out, we won't have to worry about pulling directly on our connections, especially with the use of the nice T handle. That'll make it a lot more convenient for us. And we'll bring that back right into our plug. Slide it in fully. There's going to be a little keeper on that plug that's going to go behind the notch there. That'll prevent us from having any kind of accidental separations. It's going to complete our installation of the Roadmaster 4-Diode wiring kit for towed vehicles, part number RM-152-98146-7 on our 2017 Chevrolet Silverado 1500.